Okay, today I'm going to walk you through the page builder. So in here you'll see any that have the red edit button means that we've already moved them over to the builder. So if you need to make edits within any of these pages, you'll click builder. Once they've all been moved, then this edit column will go away basically, and it will just say edit, and that will be the builder. And then you'll go back to only having excuse me, two columns. So I think I'm just going to start by creating a new page so that you can kind of start to see how it works. What I've been doing for everybody is making a example page where we label all of the widgets so that you can go to that page and see what each widget looks like, because sometimes it's hard to remember what they would look like. Example page. So I'm going to put in a navbar text. Once I click off there, it'll tell me if the navbar text is okay, if it's unique, or if I'm trying to put in a page that I already have. So you'll see most of this looks sort of similar to what you already have. You can select categories, regions, header, images. What's different is that the page content will not, the editing section will not appear until you press save. So I'm going to go ahead and press save. Now, you'll see here I have the option to add a widget. So before, where we just had, here's where you put the content, here's where a feature block can appear, here's where this, and you just went down and filled in the form. Now you get to basically make your own form. So I'm going to add this in here. I'm going to add a widget. Press yes. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this is an H1. Save. And then I'm just going to go back to the builder so that you'll see you're going to have a little preview here in this builder. And then I'm going to press view here so that we can also start to see the page building itself. And if I want to add more content, I just go to add a widget. And then you'll see this widget list. So here's medium, small, H2, H3, and then a content. So this will just bring up the regular old content box. If we can get away from putting images within these content boxes, that's what I'm sort of working towards for us, because as a user sizes down this content box, if there's an image in it, there's really no way to decide how the text wraps around the image. The browser does that for us. So sometimes you might end up with the picture, and then one word on the edge going down, if it's not quite the right size. So if we can instead use some of these other widget types that we have for including images in the content, that would be preferable, because then Dusty can say, okay, once the text gets to a certain size, we're just going to wrap it and put it on the bottom so we don't end up with any of those orphaned words or anything weird happening like that. That's not to say you can't put an image in here. You can use this just like you did before, but I'm just recommending that as we move forward, we try and get away from sticking images inside this content box. So I'm going to save this so that we'll have that there, and I'm going to add another widget. And I think you might be familiar with this part, but I'm just going to go through some of these just so you can see. So I'm going to go to content section type 2. And so what this is we can put some content in here like usual. And then if I press save, I'll have the option to add a photo selection. So I can press save. I'm going to select an image. It will bring up your photo library. And your guys' library is very large, so sometimes it takes a minute to load. And I'm just going to select an image here. And you'll see I can scroll down till I see the green for which size I should be cropping for this particular widget. So we'll press save. That'll give us our crop, and I'll select this photo and it will insert it in there. This is also the one that has the option to have any of the backgrounds like you have for the individual regions here. So I'm just going to make sure this saves. And then I'll refresh our page and you'll see I have now I have my image and I can put my content in here. And I'll go back through once I'm done with the training and fill it out a little bit more so that it looks a little nicer for your example. But I'm just going through to get the general feel of how the widgets work. Okay, so let's add a couple more widgets and then we'll go back to the builder and I'll show you some other things that you can do. Okay, anything that says where it says based on page category selection, when you click on that, there'll be nothing for you to customize. You'll just press save. Because what that's going to do is it's going to pull the category from the page. So I'm going to put in a couple of these. I'm going to do a related article one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the builder and I'm going to make sure that I've selected a couple categories so that this will populate for us. Hopefully that'll give us both an article and a thing. So now you'll see it just says, you know, the feature accounts are going to display here, the articles are going to display here. And then if we do a refresh, now you'll see here's the featured accounts and here are the articles that match that. So anytime there's a little note next to it that says this widget is going to be displayed by the categories, if it comes up blank, it's because you didn't save any categories for the page. Okay, so the next thing we can do, so we have these in here, but say when I look at this, it doesn't feel right that these two are stacked together. I would rather them be broken up. So then if I want to move something, I can just use this little arrow, I can move it up and I can decide, okay, I want this to be the top and I want the content area to go in between those two things. And then I'll press save and I can go over here, I can refresh my page. And now we have a new order. So you're not limited to this has to be here, this has to be there. You can put in all your widgets and then you can move them up or down however you please. Okay, I'm going to show you just one more kind of widget type that will, the style will kind of repeat. So embed codes, I don't know that you guys use these that frequently, but when you put documents on issue or CrowdRiff or you have a MailChimp form that you want to put in or something from a third party that gives you a little bit of code, you can just paste that code in here and press save and it will display on the site. And this will keep it nice and clean and the content editor won't mess with your code at all. So any third party system that gives you a bit of code to put in, you'll use that here. Okay, so then these featured activities, featured blocks, these you can select any excuse me, number of selections. So what will happen is you'll add an image, and we'll select an image here. Let's see if this one's cropped. Okay, we're gonna have this is gonna be a square, so we'll just crop this as a square. Here's this. And then this is where you're going to build in the rest of the information. So I'll do featured activity 1. And then this is another new feature. Anytime you're going to put in a link, we give you a few options. So you can select custom link if you're going to link directly to a partner or an outside resource page. And then you would just copy and paste the link in here just like usual. But if you're going to link to something within the site, you can link to a member. It'll give you a drop down to select, or you can link to a article or a page, and then it gives you a drop down to select. What this lets us do is tie the URL to the actual page. That way, if you happen to change aviation attractions to aviation things to do, the URL won't break because it's not copy and pasted in there as aviation attractions. It's tied to the page. So that way Dusty can automatically update any of the URLs that you're using. Same with the member. You know, if you select a member and a burger place changes their website from a Facebook link to a regular website that they had built, when you go in and change it, in the accounts section, then it will change it everywhere on the website. So this is going to really help with some of those breaking links just from links changing or people changing things by connecting them all within here. So anytime you need to make a link, you'll do that here. If you happen to select like a burger place, you can say to use the photo from this member, or you can say to use the link source from this the text from this member or page. So if it has an excerpt, you could do that. And if you check this, it will overwrite whatever you have in here. So we'll press save. And then we'll just go look at our page again so we can start to see what it's looking like. And you'll see they always go to the bottom, but we can move it around as I said. So here's this. And now we know, okay, we need to put more across. So then you can just add an item, and you can add as many items as you want. But then also remember that I think like 5 of these go across the screen. So if you wanted to do 5 and then create another featured activity stacked widget so that you could stagger them throughout the page, you can do that also. So, you know, if you had 10 to feature, you don't necessarily have to feature 10 right in a row. You could do 5 here, put in a few other widgets, and make another featured activity stacked block and have 5 more so that you can kind of vary how things look. And then it all works the same. You'll select an image, you'll decide what you want to link to, and you can add as many of those as you want. So anytime you see where it says photo selections, that is the other thing, you can change. So if I had featured activity stacked and I wanted to change it to a roller block, I can press save now, and it will convert my rollers to feature blocks. The only thing is if the if you change the widget and the image sizes are different, then you have to go in and crop your images or select the image with the proper crop. So anytime you see where you get to one that says photo selections, you'll press save, and then you just add the photo selections in here until your widget is full and to your liking. Okay, the other thing is you have the option to add a form, and that is within the form builder. I don't know if you do that part, but you can build forms in here, and then they'll display here, and you can select which one you want to display from there. And let me just see if there are any other. Okay, and then the photo video galleries, one thing I wanted to note, when you add an image to a photo or video gallery, so you can put an image in here, even if you're going to use a video and you put the video ID in here, you need to select an image for it to be able to have a thumbnail. So the other thing is you can go in here, and if you click this, you do not have to crop all of these images. You can press select photo, and the video gallery will adjust it as needed for the display type. So that will save some time when you're putting in a lot of images, because you can just click select photo instead of cropping. You don't have to worry. Dusty is still displaying the optimized photo. You know, we're not putting in full res photos in here. But then it handles how they are in here. So you can crop them all to make sure they all fit the same. But if you just want to press select photo, you can do that also. So I'll let you kind of poke around through the different widgets. Like I said, I covered kind of all the ones that have a certain process that you have to follow, and they just kind of repeat themselves. So poke around in there. Let me know if you have any questions. We can always hop on the line and work those out. Thanks very much.